Well, it's election season, and it's time to get out and vote. On this Tuesday, you have a chance to go to the poll to elect the next president of the United States, and in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the next U.S. Senator, your congressperson, and yes, your local representative in the mayor's office and city council. It's Stay the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric LaVille. We'll be right back for our Get Out the Vote show. Welcome back. It's Stay the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric LaVille. We want to welcome you, as we always do, on this beautiful Sunday that we're having here in Hampton Roads as we broadcast from the campus of the Norfolk State University, home of the Spartan Nation, by none other at WNSB Hot 91, the soul of VA. Listen, for all of you that have been listening to this show the last several months, you know this is our election season. And today is our election Super Bowl. So that means this is our Sunday before the election. We're concluding our election series with our Get Out the Vote show. We have a special guest here that's going to help us to get out the vote and talk about the importance of voting and why they're running for office. But I just want to encourage everyone. You're out there. We've talked about how to register to vote. If you're not registered in Virginia, you can go and still vote and register at that moment provisionally. But make sure you go out and vote. If you've already voted, make sure that you take someone to the poll to vote. Make sure you volunteer. But make sure that this is a family day, but also a day where we honor all those that came before us, that fought, bled, and some that died for the right to be able to vote. That's one of the great things about our country, the United States of America. Our democracy is our one man, one woman, one vote. So make sure you go out and vote. And here in Hampton Roads, just across the country, we had a presidential election, but in Hampton Roads, we have a lot of local elections that are very important. As is always said, all politics is local. With that being the case, we have with us joining us on our Get Out the Vote show, ending our election series, we have with us none other than the Vice Mayor of the great city of Portsmouth, Lisa Lucas-Burke. Vice Mayor, welcome to Stay the Water.
Well, thank you for having me, Eric. I'm pleased to have this opportunity today.
Absolutely. And listen, we know that this is a busy Sunday for everybody because as candidates, as elected officials, if you're not running for office, you're endorsing somebody, you're going from church to church, you get those last door knocks in on a Sunday before that Monday and Tuesday. So thank you so much for giving us some time to talk with us and to also talk about the importance of voting. With that being the case, this is our election series. It's election season, and this is the Super Bowl of elections because we've got at the top of the ticket the President of the United States this year. I want to, first of all, you to talk to our listeners about the importance of going out and voting, and then I want to get your perspective on that top of the ticket before we get into why you're running for mayor of Portsmouth.
Absolutely. We all realize how important this election is because we've seen it play out right before our eyes, right on our TV screens, right in our neighborhoods, right in our communities. And it's important that everyone who's able get out to the polls. If you've not already early voting, right now we have 3 days left to the campaign. Tuesday, November 5th is the big day. I know this is Super Bowl Sunday for everyone, but we're encouraging everyone up and down the ballot all across the Commonwealth of Virginia to get out and make their voices heard. Make sure that, whatever you do to get informed about candidates on your ballot, we do that because this is a critical election and we need to hear from everyone.
Absolutely. Making sure you get out and vote. And when you talked about the top of the ticket, we have a historic candidate at the very top of everybody's ticket across the country, and that's for president. Of course, you know that the vice president for the United States, Kamala Harris, is at the top of the ticket. And really in Virginia, it looks like she's at the top of probably winning Commonwealth of Virginia. But we know it's a tight race across the board. Talk to us a little bit about just being in this time period, your lifetime, our lifetime, and seeing a black woman at the top of the ticket and what that really means for not just you, but for the country itself.
I think that America is ready for this. I think having a black American woman who is running for the highest office, United States office of president, is a critical time for us to be able to show our value, show who's been leading this country? Black women. We're winning with black women, and we just need to just get that right. We've helped with everyone's campaign in the past. We've ushered people up. We've served on boards and commissions. We've served in different capacities across our country, in our local cities, and we're ready for this. We just gave everybody else the opportunity to lead. Now we need to show you what we can do. And I think Kamala Harris has been doing an excellent job with getting her message out across all of our battlefield states and even in her home state and even in states that are critical to us in this election. And we need to stand behind her because we know the kind of leadership that she brings to the table. And those leaders are also being replicated in our communities, at our local levels, at our state levels, and at our federal levels. And I'm one of those ones who are at our local levels who are making impacts in our communities. And our communities are wanting this kind of change. And they're looking for leaders who can bring them the things that they need to be able to provide for their families, for unions and for health care and for job opportunity, work development and housing and health care. And this is what women bring to the table. And I think that people know that. And I think that they're going to come out in large numbers to express their concerns about these issues this year.
Absolutely. And we see that there's been a lot of energy, especially for registering new voters, a new set of leaders that I call them. What is it that you believe energizes persons to say, hey, I want to get out there. I want to campaign. I'm a young person, or maybe I've been sitting on the couch on the sideline. Why is the time now to get involved?
Because they haven't seen this before. Because it's a new energy that they can relate to. It's a new energy that they can believe in. And it is an energy that they know that we can win with. And, we've seen women do other things. And now women are stepping up to get there, to make their voices heard, to put their platform issues before the people, and make visible differences in how our communities are going to progress in the future. And I think that they believe that now, with their votes being cast for candidates of their choice, that it makes a difference. Because in the past, I believe that some people thought that their votes didn't matter, and that their concerns about what could be the alternative. We're speaking about Kamala Harris being great for our nation, and we're talking about people being fearful of what Trump is going to bring to the table. And so, I believe that driving force, bringing something that's going to be beneficial to our communities, is what's going to drive people to those polls and vote in large numbers to get Kamala Harris and candidates like Kamala Harris elected all across the Commonwealth, all across the nation, and especially in our local offices, because we know that local politics matter and all things happen local because it addresses your issues right here at home.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about what matters locally, especially utilizing the city of Portsmouth and why you're running for mayor. But I want to make sure everyone, as we segue into this discussion about your race, I want to make sure everybody make sure you get out and go vote on Tuesday. Early voting has ended, especially here in the Commonwealth, but make sure you go out on Election Day this Tuesday. Go out and vote. For those who are at home living with individual family members or have friends that say, hey, I'm not going to vote. Listen, get them to the polls. You guys go out, make a day of it. Hey, let's go vote, and then let's go, to the mall. Let's go do XYZ afterwards. Let's go out to eat. Let's go have some lunch. Let's go talk, have a conversation. But make sure you get out and exercise your right to vote, that those that have come before us, that have sacrificed, and some that have given the greatest sacrifice of their lives for you to have an opportunity to participate in one of the greatest events of our country, and that is the ability to vote. Remember, the 15th and the 19th Amendment, men's and women's suffrage, gave black men, and the 19th gave all women the ability to vote. We had to amend the Constitution to do it. We had the drive, we have the Voting Rights Act in order for the ability for you to get out and vote. So make sure you do not leave this opportunity on the table, because it's your country. It's also what you help to decide in who can run and cast the decisions. Because as the Vice Mayor said, local politics matter. So speaking of local politics, Vice Mayor, you're running for the mayor of the city of Portsmouth. And I think many of us have seen advertisements and heard them on the radio or seen them on television. But I want to give you an opportunity, and you participate in our town hall here in Norfolk State that we had for local offices. I want to give you an opportunity to let us know about why are you running for mayor of Portsmouth, and why should the voters vote for you?
Well, that is a great opportunity for me, and I really did appreciate the candidates forum that was held at Norfolk State University a couple of weeks ago. For me here in the city of Portsmouth, I am the only mayoral candidate who was born and raised in the city of Portsmouth, educated in 4 of our Portsmouth public schools, furthered my educational aspirations at Norfolk State University, and obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in electronics engineering, which afforded me an intern opportunity at NASA Langley Research Center as an engineer's aide. I have the most vested interest in the future prosperity of my hometown of the city of Portsmouth and our citizens. I accepted my first professional employment position with the city of Portsmouth in the IT department as a computer operator at the college, and working my way up to program analyst over a 13-year span. So I earned and I learned the inner workings of municipal government at the employee level first. So I learned municipal government way back in my early years of my life. I later joined my family business of Lucas Lodge, where we provide services to adults with developmental disabilities. We've been doing that now for 25 years in the city, so I understand the business process of entrepreneurship and small women-owned minority businesses right here in the city of Portsmouth, so I can relate to our businesses that are here. Over my career, I've gained a great compassion for people, no matter their socioeconomic statuses or their passion. I have the passion for advocating for people, so I have the most vested interest in the future prosperity of my hometown. As a person who has served on the Portsmouth City Council for 8 years, 4 of those years which have been as vice mayor. I've also served as chair of our Economic Development Authority and helped to usher in new economic opportunities for our city, new housing opportunities, new marketing opportunities, and especially our biggest project to date, our Rivers Casino, which last year brought us in $250 million for them.
Wow.
But our share of the pot was $16 million. So we were able to do some great things for our community with that, like fully funding our schools, which afforded an opportunity for us to be able to maintain, retain, and provide bonuses for our teachers. Right now, our students are our greatest assets, and if we don't invest in them, what will our future look like? So being able to provide opportunities for our teachers, which I have been endorsed by our Portsmouth Educational Association. So we're doing great things with the funding that we're receiving and serving with passion and understanding that businesses are needed in our city. And I'll have some other platform issues that I'll talk about later in this segment. But I have the passion to serve my city. And there's the person who is the most tenured person with 8 years on our Portsmouth City Council. My leadership speaks for itself, and I am ready to serve at the next level, which is mayor of our great city of Portsmouth.
It's Stay the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric LaVille, and you're listening to our Get Out the Vote show here on our election series in the city of Norfolk. We're talking now with the Vice Mayor of the city of Portsmouth, Lisa Lucas-Burke, discussing with us the importance of voting and also the importance of why she's running for the city of Portsmouth mayor. Vice Mayor, you mentioned economic development, and I want to get into some of your platform items and issues in just a minute. But economic development, you mentioned, the casino bringing in monies and so forth, $16 million, $250 million that they brought in, which is amazing amount of money. But the city of Portsmouth, a lot of people look at it as a place, especially in the Hampton Roads cities, that's not really growing like the other cities should. What's your plan for the city of Portsmouth? You've been there, like I said, on council 8 years. You've seen a lot come through, and I want to talk a little bit more about the commissions that you serve on. But tell us a little bit about your plan to help spur that economic growth, especially with small businesses, women-owned businesses, and minority businesses across the board.
Absolutely. Now we have the prime opportunity of a lifetime right now because we're able to move our jail off of our waterfront and move it to our Hampton Roads Regional Jail. And now we're able to demolish all of those buildings that have sat on our prime waterfront property and build that out to be something that is a great economic driver, something that's going to bring us the revenue that we need to be able to help reduce the tax burdens on our citizens. And that's our seawall waterfront. Right now, we are able to go out with an RFP process or a request for proposal or an unsolicited bid from developers who want to invest back into Portsmouth and get us an opportunity to be able to attract more residents to our city, to be able to attract more visitors to our city. We share that waterways with our sister city in Norfolk, and with them bringing on a casino coming up soon, they just broke ground on that this past week, and that's going to be an opportunity for us to do some revenue sharing. When people are coming across on the ferry, we want them to be able to come to something exciting, something that's going to be booming, something that's going to be a mixed use of development that will bring housing and also retail opportunities and restaurants and entertainment for people who like to be able to go out and have a nice afternoon with friends or family or be able to serve people who come in town when they're visiting our city of Portsmouth. So building out our waterfront, I think, will bring opportunities for more economic development, bring opportunities for workforce development, bring an opportunity for us to be able to bring more residential housing, which is one of my platform issues, which is affordable housing. And it'll also provide an opportunity for more businesses to come to the city of Portsmouth. You know, I think all of those are great economic drivers, which will help us to be able to build up our revenue and also to be able to decrease some of the real estate taxes that are burdensome for our citizens living here in the city of Portsmouth.
Absolutely. I want to get into some, when you talk about economic development, there are two other issues that come directly with economic development. That's housing and also educational opportunities. Because when you spur the economy of a community, immediately people want to live there because people want to live where they work and they want to play where they work as well. But they also want to be able to have their families or themselves experience educational opportunities. Talk to us a little bit about your platform for affordable housing in the city of Portsmouth.
Absolutely. And I've already been a champion with that. I have worked in my former opportunities when I was with the Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority as a liaison for the city council, working with developers who want to bring affordable housing. Right there at our Effingham and County Street corridor, I helped to champion a new project that was called Holly Point. And those homes were filled before they were finished. There are 59 apartments that are affordable housing, workforce development housing, where people who work in our shipyards, who work in our naval hospitals, who work with our naval base, who work right here in our city government with our municipal government, and even our educators right here in the city of Portsmouth. They occupied those spaces. I'm working with the developer to bring on another project right there at the corridor of High Street and Elm Avenue, and it's going to be called Baines Point. And I know that those will be filled before they're finished as well. We're building out with developers all across the city because people like have diverse options to be able to choose for their affordable housing options. So building out affordable housing that allows people to be able to work on the same side of the tunnel that they live in helps them to keep money in their pockets. Right now, we're working with our legislators in the Virginia General Assembly to help reduce the tolls, to help buy down the tolls so that they don't have that burden on them as well. We want to be able to have our communities, our citizens, to be able to keep as much money in their pockets as they can. And by providing an opportunity for affordable housing and reducing tolls and reducing their taxes, is going to be a win-win for everyone. And I'm the person who will advocate for that for our citizens, our visitors, and persons who are coming to our new city.
You know, that's exciting to hear because affordable housing is just not an issue in the city of Portsmouth, but really it's an issue across the Hampton Roads in the country. So the ability to bring in economic opportunities to spur that and affordable housing, it seems to be a win-win. But you mentioned something with the tolls, because a lot of people believe that that terrible deal that was struck in several gubernatorial administrations prior was
Yeah.
was really one of the death nails for economic growth and being an attractive place for families to come from Portsmouth. So hearing the idea of working with legislators to buy down the tolls, I think is good news to everybody's ears. But the tolls are still there. I think it's something that we have to adjust to. But being able to buy them down, I think would help across the board. So I want to segue to educational opportunities. So you have economic development, we have affordable housing, now educational opportunities, good schools, safe schools. Tell us a little bit about your platform in order to bring in education opportunities and good, safe K through 12 public education.
Absolutely. So all of that begins with having a mayor who can work collaboratively with our school board members. We haven't had good working relationships with our city council and our school board members in the past because there have been a separation of understanding what we want. And we were able to fully fund our schools this year. And I think that is the catalyst that they need to be able to build out their CTE school, which is an opportunity for those students who may not be able to afford to go right away to college right out of high school. And it provides them opportunity to get skilled training, which will provide, the trade schools that people were used to in the past. But that career and technical educational opportunity provides an opportunity for people to be able to make money, to be able to provide for their young families right out of high school. And whether they, choose to go to further their education at a later date, this will be a jump start for them to be able to begin that. And, of course, helping our city council members that we're working collectively and collaboratively with to be able to look at our budget and make sure that our CIP, our capital improvement plans, have funding in them that will help us to identify new schools. All of the schools, not only in the city of Portsmouth, but all across the Hampton Roads area and I'm sure across the Commonwealth, are aging. A lot of these schools have been around for 50, 60, 70 years and are in need of a replacement. So we have to be able to work with council members and work with our legislators in the Virginia General Assembly and in the federal government at our congressional and our state levels, federal state levels, that will be able to provide the funding that we need to build out our new safe schools. And then that relates to our public safety as well. And it doesn't hurt that we have one who is very familiar with me, who is our state senator, who is also our chair of finance and appropriations and President Pro Tem, having good working relationships with them and Speaker of the House. Hampton Roads is in a unique position right now to be able to work with those in leadership to be able to help us to get the funding that we need for our schools, to get us to help to reduce the burden on the tolls, and to be able to help us to, carry out everything that we need to passionately and professionally and cooperatively help our region as a whole. Because when Portsmouth gets better, I think our region will see us as a working partner and be able to help us with things that we need to build out our opportunities in the future as well.
No, absolutely. And that state senator you mentioned, she's been in the game a long time. I think you've known her probably longer than all of us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So when we talk about Portsmouth, you mentioned public safety, you mentioned economic opportunities, you mentioned development, affordable housing, education opportunity. All those are needed for every community, and it's great to hear that you have a plan to help usher it in the great city of Portsmouth. But when we think about Portsmouth, a lot of times there's a negative connotation or light placed on it. For all that's good, for all that's not. And I think when persons look at it, they see maybe some dysfunction in government. They see maybe the unfair coverage where there's crime and so forth. You mentioned public safety. But as mayor, how do you believe that you can pull everybody together and say, listen, this is our great city. Let's work together to make it even greater?
Absolutely. Because, I'm that kind of person. I mean, I was a middle child and had an older brother and have a younger sister. And, sometimes you have to learn how to work with people even in their differences and even in your differences. And Portsmouth right now is in a unique position to be able to advance ourselves in the future because we have the opportunity to work across regions. I know that regionalism has been something that has been on the table for quite some time. And I have already been affiliated with a lot of people across the region because I'm a member of the Virginia Municipal League. So we know what all of our cities are facing and what we're in need of. I'm currently the chair of Virginia First Cities, who work with those 17 localities that are fiscally stressed. And with Portsmouth, we are 60% of our land mass we work with, but 40% of our land mass is not taxable because of the federal government, because of the shipyard, because of the ports, because of our naval hospital. So we have to learn how to work with the revenues and the funding that we're allocated each year and being able to work with leaders who can help us with that. You need to be able to sit to the table and have those strong conversations with the people who can send funding your way. And we did receive funding for our innovation district last year. We received $19 million from the federal government, and at the state level, Senator Lucas was able to match that with an additional $4.3 million, which brought us to $23 million that we can now go to our main corridor, which is High Street, and take down some of that blight and take down some of the blighted, dilapidated buildings and wrap them and bring in new opportunities for businesses and small and large, because we need them all in order to be able to advance our future and to provide opportunities that will keep our residents here and even attract even more residents in the future.
Well, we got a few moments here, a few minutes, and we also have only a couple of days left till Election Day this Tuesday. We've talked about the importance of voting. I just want you to give us an opportunity to hear from you once again, because all politics is local. Talk with the citizens, not just of Hampton Roads, but more specifically of Portsmouth, about the importance to get out to vote, any information they need to know of voting in Portsmouth, and especially those that are on the ballot.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing that I didn't speak about was healthcare literacy and access, making sure that we are a healthy Portsmouth, making sure that we have access to healthcare opportunities right here at our home. Right now, we don't have an urgent care facility like a Patient First or a Doc in the Box or an urgent care facility that will attend to our needs. If you have an upper respiratory, or if you have a sprained ankle, or if you have something that doesn't require medical hospitalization or urgent needs in that capacity. But we want to be able to just have a Patient First or some kind of urgent care facility. And that's one of the things that I want to advocate for, because I believe that our citizens deserve that. We shouldn't have to travel across a city line in order to get the health care needs that we are in urgent need of at the time.
Absolutely. And once again, this is Vice Mayor of the City of Portsmouth, who's running for mayor for the City of Portsmouth, where she served on council for 8 years, and also encouraging everybody to get out and go vote. This Tuesday, make sure you exercise your right to vote. Make sure you just go out, not just go vote, but take someone with you. Because when you do so, you not only help yourself, your country, your community, but you also honor those that came behind us, those that came before us, and also those that are coming behind us for the sacrifices that our forefathers made. Once again, Lisa Lucas-Burke, any last words?
I thank you for this opportunity. I think that I am the best candidate because I've been endorsed by our professional firefighters for my strong stance on collective bargaining. I've been endorsed by the Portsmouth Educational Association for my stance for fully funding our schools and maintaining and retaining the best teachers, and the Martin Luther King Steering Committee, and all 5 of our constitutional officers. So when you have leadership like that backing you, how can you lose? I think that I'm the best candidate, and I think the voters will make that decision on Tuesday, November 5th. Lisa Lucas-Burke for mayor. And
this has been Stay in the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric LaVille. Until next time, be good, be great, God bless, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Carrie Washington, and you're listening to State of the Water with award-winning host Dr. Eric LaVille.